are.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Miriam.
And this is
B.
And what do we say that's good for?
I don't think we had an acronym, but we wanted it to be about finding yourself or ourselves through relationship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. Finding ourselves through relationship. B. I was like trying to play with it, like be excellent or be, but no, just be. Right?
Just be is good.
Just be.
Yeah.
So finally we're here.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a rough day.
It's been quite a day. Challenging as far as technical nuances of creating a podcast.
Yeah, we didn't think that it was going to happen today because we couldn't find the right audio.
Right.
And it was a little bit challenging.
Yes.
We made a few trips to Best Buy.
And Target.
Yes, but finally we're here. And this is our first podcast.
Inaugural.
Yes, and I thought maybe we would talk a little bit about like what it means to us to have this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And you were the one that brought it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it really resonated with me because I was like, I really do want a space where I can kind of talk about issues that are important. Because a lot of times as women, we go through life and we go to work and we have responsibilities, and sometimes it's just nice to be able to talk about stuff that's like real and meaningful to you with somebody else, you know. And so I was like, yes. And then, so many other people are doing podcasts. So I'm like, yeah, we can do one. And we have such a good rapport, and like, it's just we have fun together. And so I thought that this would be a good space for us to talk about just like some of the stuff that we always talk about on a regular basis. And just like maybe along the way, someone will connect with us or like, have fun with us and get something from it. So this is, I guess, a support group kind of where we talk about issues, but hopefully we can help somebody else while we're doing that.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what it meant to me, and I'm glad that you brought it up.
I'm glad I brought it up too. It's something that had been on my mind for quite some time, and I didn't really know what shape it would take. But like you, I'm always looking for someone to talk to about things that interest me. But actually, part of it came out for me. I'm in a space in my life presently where I'm looking to really push myself forward, and I'm looking to try to find my voice, and I'm constantly trying to remind myself that I have a point of view that's worth putting out there among all of the other people who are putting their points of view out. But I just kind of am in a space where I have to remind myself constantly that I have something to contribute, and more importantly, something to share. Just a perspective, not necessarily unique, but my own. And Sarah's absolutely one of my favorite people in the world. She's one of my favorite people to talk to. I just love how our conversations sort of go left, right, up, and down naturally, from the most serious to the most ridiculous, and then back again. So I thought this would be really fun. We are very ridiculous. We own it.
Yes.
And I just think it would be a really great opportunity for both of us. I know as she's moving into new areas of her career that this made sense for what she's trying to do. And then personally, and maybe even professionally, as I continue to work through what that looks like for me, this will make sense as well. So here we are.
That's beautiful. Okay, so we have an agenda.
Indeed.
Right? So we didn't just like say, like, just do this and just didn't
Although
plan.
we could do that too. But that would be a little different.
So I guess we should start with some of the segments. We're calling them segments.
Yes.
By the way, we're calling this a chat show.
A chat show. Yeah.
Okay, so we have segments. So the first one is the job. So that's where we talk about everything related to career woes, goals, career identity,
ups and downs, changes in career, second acts, side hustles.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? Should I start? Should you start? I mean, there's so much to say about career, right? Especially at our age, we're a little bit older.
Right, you would never.
Whatever that means.
No.
So career has been very challenging.
Definitely.
So So, I did the whole psychology thing, and I went and got the PhD, and I was very goal driven. And all that time I was just thinking about, getting the degree. I wanted to help young people. I wanted to help young girls. I was interested in self-esteem and all of that stuff. But I didn't actually have like a set career. I didn't know what my career would look like. But I was busy, accomplishing these goals. And then I got in the field of psychology, and it fell flat for me. Like it wasn't enough. Like I felt like I was kind of like, I was in the field, but I didn't have a career that I was passionate about. And so I struggled with that for like a long time. Because I kind of didn't know, my path didn't feel very clear. But then I had all of these other interests, like, fashion design. We were always interested in fashion in college.
Yes, just so you know, that's how Sarah and I met. The second day of college.
Yes. And we just had this knack for fashion, and we always talked about it. But I think back then, that was the 90s. I didn't have like a career plan for that. Yeah, I was interested in it, but I didn't know it to be a career. But fast forward though, once I got my doctorate, then I started seeing all of these people doing really different things in fashion, not just being a fashion designer or being a fashion editor, just doing different things with blogs and so forth. And so I was like, I need to do something unique. I need to be able to pull together like this whole psychology thing with design and fashion, because interior design also like became my love as well.
Right.
And so like I started doing that, but it hasn't been easy to kind of put those two together, particularly since I'm still at my job. Like I'm still at my full-time job, and I haven't been able to leave it. So that's actually been really the most challenging thing, because I'm not really happy where I'm at. But I'm trying to do the side hustle, trying to do the side business, and trying to kind of understand why I'm still in that position. Like, I went through a period where I was just sort of complaining all the time. Like, I hate my job. I hate this. I hate this. But then I had to kind of like step back and be like, why am I here? What am I supposed to do with this? Like, I feel like, okay, so this must mean that I have to learn something, because nothing was happening. Like I wasn't getting any opportunities that I really wanted. Nothing was happening outside of me. So I was like, okay, so it has to come from inside. And I would listen to a lot of messages. That's when I started listening to all these preachers and just these uplifting messages about like how to sort of come out of where I felt stuck.
Just sidebar, I call Sarah my message stylist, because when she finds one that she thinks is really impactful, she'll just send it my way.
Yeah.
And it always seems to be exactly the right fit. So
I'm
my
glad.
message stylist.
I'm glad. And so I just like I'm trying to what was I talking about?
You were talking about the messages. Sorry.
Oh yes. The messages. So I would listen to all these messages, and I would like try to figure out what is it inside of me that I have to pull out. So that's when I started doing different types of things, like I started the blog, and then I started the business, Trulery, which is sort of a interior and wardrobe consulting. Not sort of. I don't know why I say
exactly
that. It's an interior and wardrobe consulting service.
Yes.
And so like just trying to do different things to kind of put it together, knowing that opportunities aren't going to be made for me. I have to make them. And I think that's what I'm learning. It's just a hard lesson when I feel like I'm in a position where I'm stuck and I can't move.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at now, trying not to be so unhappy and so ungrateful. Trying to actually find joy and gratitude in the little things that I get up, that I have a family and that kind of thing.
Right.
And then just trying to like really check my my frustration with being in a job that I don't want to be in, thinking, wow, I never thought I would be here, but sort of changing that and thinking, okay, so what can I do to kind of build where I want to go, even when I'm in a situation where I don't want to be.
Okay.
So that's kind of like, that's where I'm at with career.
Right.
Like, can you relate to that?
I can relate. You actually touched upon a couple of things I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to just table them, and let's hope I remember, because my memory is not what it used to be. I'll give you a little bit of background on where I'm at with my career, and I can absolutely relate to what Sarah's talking about. Although my where I am right now looks quite different from where Sarah is right now. So we were both studying psychology undergrad, and just as I was about to graduate with my bachelor's, I started thinking, is this really what I want to dedicate another X amount of years to? Because there's obviously the master's level and then the PhD level, and I just started feeling like, I don't know if this is really what I want to do. And as Sarah mentioned before, we've always loved fashion. And I started thinking, maybe there's something more to it. I'm spending quite a lot of my free time delving into magazines, watching every fashion show that exists out there, really understanding designers, starting to really have an appreciation for color and fabric. Maybe there's more here. I went to an open house at a fashion school in New York City and thought, this is it. Makes sense. I'm gonna do this. Applied for a 1-year program. But this is sort of the beginning of my frustration, and sort of a theme that I'm starting to recognize at this point in my life, where I'm doing sort of a check back as to sort of how I ended up here. I shortchanged myself. What I really wanted to do was fashion design, but what I thought I could do was fashion merchandising. It just felt more tangible. It felt like it made more sense and was like maybe what I thought an easier transition, because I'm not a natural designer, meaning I don't sew, I don't sketch, I couldn't put ideas to paper, but there was a lot happening in my mind. Mm-hmm. So I thought maybe it would be a good idea to sort of get into the business and I could work my way into where I really want to be. So cut to, I hardly can believe this, almost 20 years later. And I found myself, I know, obviously I started at birth. I found myself in mostly background positions in the industry, so what they consider production or product development, sort of bringing someone else's ideas to life, which is fulfilling to a point because you can't have as much input as you'd like. I've definitely had experiences with designers that have come to trust me and trust my color eye, etc. and so forth, and have taken my thoughts into consideration, but it's never your product at the end of the day, so it's not fulfilling.